I'm Tim Ellis, and thank you for joining us for Laneway Live. Tonight's special guest is one of the most unusual artists I've ever met. He's coming to us live from the Magic Parlour in Albury. Please welcome Dane Certificate. Dane Certificate, wow! That is live from the Dane Certificate Magic Parlour in Albury. And here he is, the man himself, Dane Certificate.
Hey Tim.
Hello, Dane.
How are
So
you?
I have not been to your magic parlor yet. It looks like you've got matching curtains.
Yeah, I copied you. Sorry.
So where is your magic parlor located for the people who, at some point after this is all over, can travel again and go and visit you in Albury?
So I'm in. It's actually part of the Maya complex, Maya Centre Point, which is on David Street. So it's in a great spot. Usually heaps of foot traffic, but not today. Pretty
And,
quiet.
and how many do you take?
Only 20 at a time.
So it's even more intimate than the Laneway Theatre.
Yeah. How many do you take?
32. We're the big time.
32.
But you do
Yeah.
like how many shows a day? I saw you've got a great lineup.
So I was doing 3 shows a night and a couple of shows over the weekends here, and then everything just suddenly changed. But yeah, it was great. I was here for a year and just started really getting into doing close-up shows.
Apparently, you've had quite a few celebrity guests. I saw. I don't think he did. Did J. Scott Berry do his show there, or was that cancelled by Corona?
Yeah, it all happened over 3 days, I think, every single show. But yeah, I was looking forward to seeing Jay, and hopefully he can come back. I think the first guest I had was Ben Hutton. Yeah, people love just coming here and seeing different performances. They come to my show quite a bit and I change it every time, or try to. So it's great when other magicians come in.
How long is the average show?
I say 20 minutes, but usually, 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah. How about yours?
The current one is 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
But at the moment, it's just 30 minutes a night, every night at 8 o'clock, live from here. We know you from Dane Certificate's Magic Theatre here in Melbourne, and then you moved to Albury, but you did a few other things between the two times.
So I was on the road for a little bit, travelled up to Sydney, or through Sydney, and travelled around to country towns doing little shows. I think it was before that I went to India, and that was a hell of a trip.
And so you told me some of the experiences you had in India. You actually had an escape trunk made?
I did, and I had it all filmed, and the guy filming it disappeared with the memory card. Yeah, so all I have left is a couple of photos and the sign saying, I don't know if you've seen the sign, I'll send you a picture. I was doing a few card tricks beforehand. The whole street filled up with people, and there was traffic jams, and kind of had to move the whole show to the side a little bit. Yeah, it was pretty weird.
So how did the Indian people respond to the Dane Certificate brand of magic?
Really well. I'm still in contact with quite a few magicians. We did the most amount of magicians in a magic show. That was in New Delhi. Yeah, I met heaps of magicians there and saw a lot of umbrella magic, doves and silks. I visited a few different places to do magic for kids. The best magician I saw was this young girl. She was probably about 9 or 10. And she produced several parasols and doves during her act, and it was just incredible. Never seen anything like it.
You also, while you're here in Melbourne, you do a lot of shows in retirement homes. That seems to be something you have a particular fondness to do.
I started doing aged cares 4 years ago, and recently I've been doing more on the mentalism side for the elderly there. It's just been going really, it's great. I used to have a couple of doves, white doves, and I left one of Snow White. She was sitting on a lady's finger, and she was okay with Snow White. And I turned around to someone tap me on the shoulder or something, and I was answering a question. And then when I turned back across the room, the lady who had the dove just it looked like bit its head off. But what I realized was she had given the dove to somebody else to hold, and she picked up this white bun, the same size as the dove. And it was this illusion that, yeah, it was really shocking.
So what was your reaction?
There was no reaction on the outside. It was just kind of stunned, and then, yeah, realizing it's all right. Yeah.
And what is it like performing for the people with the aged care? Are there any tips you can give people who want to get into that area?
Make sure you're very clear on what you're doing. A lot of small details are easily missed. You definitely need a microphone. Colourful effects are great, and just treating everyone like humans. Yeah, I love doing aged cares. Recommended.
I know when you did perform in Hollywood recently, you did have a lot of magicians. I know there quite a few. There was a buzz at the Magic Castle for people wanting to come and see Dane Certificate in action.
It was the first time I visited the Magic Castle, and it was so great. No wonder Simon Coronel moved over there.
And did people like Rob Zabrecki come and see your show?
Yeah, Rob came to the Hollywood show, the Variety Night. It was great to see him, and that was a really good night. I'll always remember that.
So since you met Rob here at the Magic Festival, you've become good friends.
Yeah, that's right.
It seems like it's like a secret. Yeah. Yep, we have. Nothing more, nothing to say.
I love Rob and his work, and yeah, everything he does.
Do you communicate and swap ideas, and does he give you coaching or anything like that, or advice?
I love to chat with Rob, and it's always great with magicians to be able to share ideas and kind of, yeah, riff on things. So, yeah.
Now you've got a particularly unusual style. I like to describe it as abstract magic. How would you describe your show to someone who has never seen it before?
Well, I mean, I do family shows, which are sort of more standard, but then, yeah, doing more of the theatrical adult show. I just like to create original magic and work on the soundtrack to make it more of a sort of view it more as a movie. So you're experiencing something as a whole thing, rather than just seeing, I don't know, just doing some tricks or something like that. But I'm not too sure.
So you have no specific process you go through when you're coming up with the show?
I do. It's basically starting off with the music usually, and I've got my recording program, and I create a timeline so I can place in, so this sound, like maybe a song or sound effect, can be placed at the start, and then I can retitle that clip, say linking rings or whatever it is, and then you kind of fill the timeline up with everything, and you can see everything right in front of you. Just for me, it's less confusing that way, and you can sit there with headphones on and sort of imagine the whole show and how things are going to happen and the movement and everything like that. So that's one of my, yeah, that's the process.
So your show comes from the music that you write for it?
Sort of, yeah. Sort of comes all together, but to make things kind of clear and to remember everything that needs to be done, I sort of, yeah, have it just in front of me in the music form, and then, yeah, these little clips are the visual element that are titled, and then you create this show in your mind, so you can be practicing all the time as long as you remember it.
Now, the show that you did recently, most recently for the Melbourne Magic Festival, was called Dane Certificate's Flower Press, Part 1 and Part 2, and they were tiny mini shows. Were they like a spin-off from your earlier magic show, which was Dane Certificate's Trotting Complex, or are the two shows not related at all?
I guess it was sort of related in like just taking things out and changing things slightly. But yeah, it still had the conveyor belt idea, but with the fishing rod, instead of having the items on like an electric looking, all the little boxes come out to me, but that kind of thing. So it was a similar idea and set in a factory. Yeah, so that was the thing that I was going to take to the Hollywood Fringe. That's something I'll keep working on.
Well, yeah, you've got 12 more months to get it perfect.
Yeah.
Non-stop rehearsal for the next 6 months. Are you enjoying the break in rehearsal, or is it just driving you crazy?
I like it. I'm being more productive than I have for a long time, and there's no work to be focused on doing. As in, you don't have to be worried about going out and doing a show. Working on a movie, which is kind of influenced by Trotting Complex and Flower Press. It's not set in a factory, but some of the sounds and the sort of feeling is being directed into something more like set in stone. So not having to act out like a live setting, like setting the movie into stone and filming it and adding sound to it and getting it perfect, and then recreating a show based on that sort of thing. So whatever animations or sort of more impossible things are on the screen, then that'll be the process to create how do we make that happen in a real show.
Can you describe Trotting Complex, the plot or the story?
Just a guy in a factory. He takes normal everyday things and there's all this magic happening around it. So yeah, that's kind of the idea for the movie as well.
One of the parts that I loved in the show was where a little boy came up from the audience and just sat down and played the piano and then went back down and sat down again.
That's right. Yeah, that's something that I didn't put in the Flower Press. That's one of my favorite bits as well.
And is everything put in with a meaning, or is it really just for the audience to interpret themselves?
Well, yeah, my meaning, I put meaning into everything that I do, but it's sort of there for others to find their own meaning. So the movie is kind of based on this kind of character. So it'll be an animated version of this kind of feel mixed with real life footage.
And so you've got a lot of time now to work on the movie. Is that what you are doing, or is it, are we expecting the movie to come out a bit later?
It's going to take a while, I think. But yeah, always working on the movie and sort of writing story. That's what these drawings are, just drawing storyboards and different scenes and everything. And then like the whole back area is full of these drawings.
Do you have a team working with you, or is it a one-man show?
Yeah, there's a team out there. Actually, they're not. It's just me.
So, Dane certificate, produced, directed, starred, written, acted, everything.
I'll have some people come on to the different scenes and everything, but I'm not at that stage yet. I might have to get you to do some editing.
And the other thing that's some people don't know about, but even before you did magic, you were a musician. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been making music since I was a kid. I played around with an aged care band, actually. My family had a little band, and the leader was a guy called Harry Walker, and he was a great trombone player, and I was playing the trombone as well. And my mum and my sisters, my brother, they were on saxophones. Rowan, my brother, was on, what did he play? The euphonium, like a little tuba. And we used to visit nursing homes back then. We were in the Albury City Band years ago, and I switched to the drums and then started playing in bands throughout my teenage years and started recording when I was 16. And I still use the same computer to record. When I was in India, we were on the way back to the airport and we're in a bit of a rush. And then I met this guy out of just by chance, and he had a magic shop. And so I got on the back of his motorbike and we went through all these crowds to get to his magic shop quickly. I don't know how we survived that trip, but we got there and I bought a few things off him. One was, what do you show a tube and the feathers appear? Yep. And it was great and it looked great. So anyway, I got back to Australia and our flight was delayed a little bit. So I was in a hurry to get to an aged care show. So I had to rely on this new flower effect without running through it as a climax of the show. So I did the show, and then I built it up and I put a silk into it and I pulled the top off, and it sprung out, but all the feathers went up in a puff, like a pillow exploding, and the whole room was full of feathers, and everyone was in complete silence, and I was just thinking, yeah, that's the only standing ovation I've ever got.
Was there anything left on the flower, or was it just wires?
It was just these weird-looking coat hanger wires with
all the feathers were gone.
Yeah, and because the whole room was just full of these little. Yeah, it was pretty amazing, actually.
Well, we know and remember the Dane Certificate Magic Theatre fondly for one moment, especially in time, many other reasons, but especially because that's where the world's longest magic show was. And that was right. A bit of epic, wasn't it?
That was great.
85 hours nonstop. Thaisa stayed there for almost the entire show as a spectator. And you were there most of the time too, as the barman, weren't you?
I was. I had a few breaks. I went home for a little bit, but I remember, everyone looking a bit wired at the end of that. And
the funny thing I thought was the fact that at maybe 4 a.m. in the morning, there was still like about 60 people there. And then as it clicked over to the next shift, which was sort of 6 a.m. till 10 a.m., everybody left. Because all these people who've been up all night watching magic and loving it and going, yeah, we're gonna have an all-nighter with the magic, and we just they love. But then it comes around to 6 a.m. like we better go. Nobody wakes up in the morning at 6 a.m. and goes, I'm going to go watch some magic. And it always seemed to be me who was doing the 6 a.m. shifts.
And Tay was there during that period too, was she?
Yeah, it was her, and like sometimes you were there, and sometimes there was maybe one or two people who were just leaving the other shift, and I'd be like, please, you've got to stay. We need at least 6 people in the audience, otherwise we lose the record. And so there's people who are they've been watching magic for 10 hours, just sitting there going.
I remember the toasted sandwich maker. There was a brand new one for that event, and I think it did as many toasties as one of those things can do. And just at the end of the thing, we just threw it out. There was probably thousands of toasties made.
I think we set the record for the most toasties consumed in 85 hours.
Could add that on too, I guess.
And Dom Chambers also used a toasty in his trick, when we did the Today Show as well. He did signed card to toasty.
Yeah, I saw that again the other day, actually. Yeah.
It's a good clip. We'll put the link down there so people can have a look at Dom Chambers before he was internationally famous. Thank you for chatting to us, Dane. We're going to finish off with one of your songs, and this is a new song you've just recorded?
Yep, so I recorded this song 2 days ago and made the video yesterday. So yeah, just putting together a new song every day or two, and just putting it out via YouTube with video.
And we'll put the link down there for anyone who wants to follow all your songs. So you're going to do a new song every day or two?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm trying for every day, but yeah, probably every day or two, sometimes 3. But yeah.
Make sure you subscribe to Dane's channel and listen to every one of these amazing new songs. Thank you very much, Dane Certificate. We're going to go out now with Who Took Your Love Away? Dane Certificate. Bye.
Took the love out of your heart. You took the love away. You took the